Good evening, everyone. My name is Dempsey Hamilton, and on behalf of the Kennedy Center and Performing Arts for Everyone, I would like to welcome you all to the Millennium stage. Tonight's performance is presented in cooperation with ASCAP. I have here with me our good friend Michael Kirker, who is the Director of Musical Theater for ASCAP. And at this point, I would like to turn it over to him so that he can tell you more about ASCAP and tonight's performance. So please welcome Michael Kirker.
Thank you, Dempsey. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody at the Kennedy Center, especially Tim Prestridge, for inviting ASCAP here and letting us kick off our centennial celebration. ASCAP is the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers, and we're a membership organization, and our members represent the finest of American composers and lyricists. And while our songwriters work in all genres of music, pop, rock, rap, hip-hop, country, Latin, tonight we're saluting our great members who write for the American Musical Theater, and we've been doing so over the last 5 nights. In celebrating our centennial tonight, we're focusing on the years 1989 to 2013. I also want to tell you that tonight will be a little bit special. As soon as the performance is over, we're going to do a Q&A, about a 10, 15-minute Q&A with our cast, so you'll have a chance to ask some questions. First, a little bad news. We're a little sorry to say that our female star, Cara Lindsay, has taken ill. She called me this morning. She is so regretful that she can't be here. I know she's watching us live tonight, so we wish Cara a speedy recovery. But to quote our great ASCAP songwriter Irving Berlin, who said, "There's no people like show people," that is clearly true tonight, because our 2 guest artists and Ben, our amazing musical director, on the train coming from New York, put together this evening, added some songs that we had to lose because Cara's not here. So you're in for a special treat. So now to introduce our 2 performers. Our special guest tonight is John Bucchino. John is one of the most celebrated of contemporary composer-lyricists. Many of you might know his Broadway musical, A Catered Affair. John is working on a new musical, and a little bit later you'll get a chance to hear a song or 2 from that musical. For our star performer, he's probably one of the most gifted, talented, young musical theater performers I've met in quite a long time. He's the star of the smash hit musical on Broadway right now, Newsies. It's his night off, so we're really grateful to him for being here. I had the good fortune to seeing him in Newsies, and he clearly deserves that great standing ovation he gets every night. Please welcome our star guest, Cott.
I know I have no right, but sometimes late at night, I watch you in the attic, pacing back and forth like a maniac. I've never met a girl like you, anyone at all like you. This is very nice, such a lovely party. The music sounds so thrilling. It makes a person feel like dancing. You guys want to dance with me? No? Okay. We could do 100 things, do anything you please. We could fly on golden wings across the 7 seas. I bet we could get a camel through a needle if you take a chance on me. We could catch 1,000 stars, stand them on a pin. We could leap from here to Mars and make the planet spin. If you want to do all the things you ever dreamed of, go on, take a chance on me. Be such friends. Friends are never lonely. All I know is books. Books are solitary, but I see you every day, and how you us, but only if we dare. We could go to such extremes, there's so much we could share. We'll circle the world doing all we ever dreamed of, and we'll live in our own way, and I'll see you every day. We'll be the best of friends when you take a chance on me. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hello, I'm Corey Cott. It is such an honor to be here and be in your presence. We are so grateful. This is my amazing friend, talented musician and accompanist, Ben Rauhala. Please give him a round of applause. So, as Michael said, this is my night off, and so we're so excited to be here with you. This is both of our Kennedy Center debuts, so we couldn't be more honored to be here and celebrate this amazing place with all of you guys. So a little bit about me. I'm currently playing Jack Kelly in Newsies. I've been doing it for about a year and a couple months, and it's been the most amazing experience of my life. I went to Carnegie Mellon University, studied in musical theater, and then I moved to New York and started doing Newsies. So yeah, I'm so thankful for the ability to share music every night with people and share a story that inspires a lot. So and I'll have Ben mention a few things about himself too.
Oh, me. I'm Corey's friend. No, just kidding. I'm a music director in New York, and I worked a little bit on the Broadway revival of Pippin with a lot of people that are a lot more talented than me, like this guy. But yeah, you know, Corey's crazy story is that he was cast in Newsies as a standby, and about 2 weeks later, was it? Or something really quick. He made his Broadway debut, and within a couple weeks, they moved him from being the standby to being the leading role. And he had just graduated from college about a month or two before.
Yeah. I feel very lucky and very blessed. So tonight we are going to share, as Michael said, songs of our generation, songs from '89 until the present, Broadway songs. So the song you just heard is called "Take a Chance on Me." It is from the musical Little Women, based on the novel by Louisa May Alcott. And that musical opened on Broadway.
Oh no, we ran into it. 05, I think.
Yeah, 05. And starring
Howland,
Sutton Foster, Maureen McGovern, and it's an amazing score with a lot of wonderful songs. So our next song that we'd like to share with you is by an amazing celebrated composer of our generation, someone I've grown up listening to. His name's Jason Robert Brown, and he's written such musicals as The Last 5 Years, and currently he has a musical that's bound for Broadway called Bridges of Madison County. It's scheduled to open in...
Yeah, they start performances in January, and they open in February.
Yeah, so he's a very prolific, and the song that we are going to sing now is the opening number from one of my favorite musicals of his called Parade. The song is Old Red Hills of Home. It's the opening number, and it's a young soldier who's about to go off and fight in war, and he's giving one last message to his beloved. Farewell, my Lila. I'll write every evening. I've carved our names in the trunk of this tree. Farewell, my Lila. I miss you already, and dream of the day when I'll hold you again in a home safe from fear, when the Southland is free. I go to fight for these old hills behind me, these old red hills of home. I go to fight for these old hills, remind me of a way of life that's pure, in the land that must endure, in the land called Marietta, in the old red hills of home. day as I journey beyond them, these old red hills of home. Let all the blood of the North spill upon them till they've paid for what they've wrought, taken back the lives they've taught, and there's peace in Marietta, and we're safe again in Georgia, in the land where honor lives and breathes, the old red hills of home. Farewell, my Lila. Thank you so much.
That score won the Tony in 1999,
It
actually.
did. It did. It's an amazing score. If you can check out the cast recording of Parade, please check it out. It'll move you. So our next song, our next show, actually, we like to share. Jason Robert Brown actually did the orchestrations for this next show, which was not on Broadway. We realized.
But it played at Lincoln Center.
It did play at Lincoln Center, which, I mean, it gets a little confusing, but there's a few theaters within Lincoln Center in New York City, and based on the amount of seats in the house, some of them are considered on Broadway, some of them are considered off Broadway. So this next show is by composer William Finn. It's called A New Brain. And William Finn's another amazing, celebrated composer of my era, of our generation. He wrote the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, which was on Broadway in the early or late 2000s for a few years, and Falsettos, and A New Brain is one of his other celebrated ones. So this song is called I'd Rather Be Sailing.
Quickly, can I have a little more Corey in my monitor? I just love
Turn
hearing his
me up.
voice. I love it.
You ready, Ben? Okay. I'd rather be sailing, yes I would, on an open sea. I'd stand at the railing if I could, feeling wild and free. The sun is on my neck, the wind is in my face, the water's incredibly blue, and I'd rather be sailing. Yes, I'd wanna go sail and then come home to you. Sex is good, but I'd rather be sailing. Food is nice, but I'd rather be sailing. People are swell, but I'd rather be sailing over the horizon. And I'd rather be sailing, yes I would, on an open sea. I'd stand there inhaling if I could, feeling wild and free. The sun is on my neck, the wind is in my face, the sea is incredibly blue, and I'd rather be sailing. Yes, I'd wanna go sail and then come home to you. I'd rather be sailing. Yes, I'd to you.
I love that one.
So our next song, it's a very recognizable song, I think. There's this little musical called Wicked. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Hey, there it is. I'm not singing Divine Gravity, don't worry, as much as you were hoping I would.
I might later for the
Yeah,
encore.
Ben might later, yeah. Wicked has kind of become the, as I think a lot of people here would probably agree with, a lot of the world would agree, is the musical of our generation. First musical I ever saw on Broadway, I was 14 years old, and I went to the Gershwin Theater with my family, with my parents who are actually here, and we sat in the back row, and I was just, I mean, if you've seen it, it's literally the definition of a spectacle, I think. But it's one of the shows that really made me want to be an actor and be in musical theater in the first place. And I give a lot of credit to that show and to Stephen Schwartz, who is the composer and lyricist of that show, who is also become kind of a staple composer of our generation as well. He's currently represented on Broadway by Pippin, the revival of Pippin, which if you get a chance to see it, it's amazing. And Ben actually worked on it, so if you have any questions about that, you can totally talk to Ben.
Yeah.
But Stephen Schwartz, who I've actually gotten to know a little bit, because I got to know him a little bit. He went to Carnegie Mellon, and he actually wrote the musical Godspell, which you may or may not hear a selection from that later in the show. He wrote that at Carnegie Mellon. But he came every year I was at school, and he would give us master classes, and he would talk to us, answer questions, and so it's been, I feel kind of honored to be able to call him an acquaintance and a friend. So we're gonna give you a little Dancing Through Life.
Wait, but while we're here, I just want to say, we know Kara Lindsay's watching at home, our dear friend who went to
Kara,
Carnegie
who's
Mellon
supposed to
with
be
him,
with us.
so I just thought of her. So hi, Kara.
Hi,
We
Kara.
miss you.
We miss you. Feel better.
All right, here we go.
The trouble with schools is they always try to teach the wrong lesson. Believe me, I've been kicked out of enough of them to know. They want you to become less callow, less shallow. But I say, why invite stressing? Stop studying strife and learn to live the unexamined life. Dancing through life, skimming the surface, gliding where turf is smooth. Life's more painless for the brainless. Why think too hard when it's so soothing? Dancing through life, no need to tough it when you can slough it off as I do. Nothing matters, but knowing nothing matters. It's just life, so keep dancing through. Dancing through life, swaying and sweeping, and always keeping cool. Life is fraughtless for the thoughtless. Those who don't try never look foolish. Dancing through life, mindless and careless. Make sure you're wearless. Trouble is rife. Woes are fleeting, blows are glancing when you're dancing through life. Let's go down to the Oz's ballroom. We'll meet there later tonight. We can dance till it's light. Find the prettiest girl, give her a whirl. Right on down to the Oz's ballroom. Come on, follow me. You'll be happy to be there, dancing through life. If only because dust is what we come to. Nothing matters, but knowing nothing matters. It's just life. So keep dancing through. tune. A good tune. So now I would like to welcome our other guest who's here, an amazing person, friend, composer, John Bucchino. Please give a round of applause for John Bucchino.
Thanks, Cora.
Absolutely, John.
So I'm breaking the pattern a little bit of this evening, which is supposed to be Broadway shows, you know, and in order to fill in some of the spaces that Kara would have been occupying, I'm doing not only a couple of songs from a Broadway show that I was fortunate enough to write, but I'm also going to do we're going to do a couple more of my songs. And I came to Broadway in a pretty interesting way, or writing for theater in an interesting way. I just wrote songs all my life, and they were standalone songs. I never thought about writing for theater until I met Stephen Schwartz, as a matter of fact, who has been my best friend for the last 26 or so years. And he and another Steve Sondheim, who heard my work.
Who's that?
Some guy. He's pretty good. You might like him. Encouraged me to think about writing for theater. But as I said prior to that, I just wrote songs because I felt things, and they just kind of bubbled up out of me. The first song that Corey's going to sing is one of those songs that was written as a standalone song. It ultimately found its way into a musical review, which was sort of my baby step toward actually writing a book musical. But at first, it was just an isolated song, and it's called Unexpressed.
Sometimes I think my heart will burst like a balloon inside my chest, with all the love that's waiting here unexpressed. Fingers that ache to intertwine, warmest of chords but missing tune. Where is the laugh to echo mine? Send it soon. The words my lips would form, the circle these two arms would make safe and warm. Someone could be safe and warm, but maybe the love we yearn to give can find a release some other way, coloring how we choose to live every day, the kindness we can share. We can share, the comfort these two arms might lend in despair. Someone's always in despair. Still, I'm longing to meet that pair of eyes, dark as the night or endless blue, holding the light. I'll recognize something clear, something true, something that seems to mean something I haven't seen since you. He's not bad, huh? He's pretty good.
I love the way you sing my songs.
I love the way you write your songs.
It makes a
it
writer
easy.
very, very happy. David, there's actually no Corey in this monitor at all. Can I have him here? And Corey, can you say a little bit?
Hello, I'm here.
No,
I'm singing
you're
songs.
here, but you're there, but you're not here.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Hello, hello, hello.
Any better?
No, there's
No?
nothing. There's nothing.
Want me to just sing louder?
Yeah, that's all right. No, but I hope that I can
Any
be
better?
in there when I.
Yeah?
So the next song actually is the next two songs actually are from a Broadway show. I was contacted by Harvey Fierstein, and if you don't know the name, Harvey Fierstein.
Who also wrote the book, the script for Newsies.
For Newsies, right? It's just a sort of, that's one thing about the Broadway community. It's just a circle of interconnected people who all know each other and support each other mostly. But anyway, Harvey, who I didn't know, contacted me and wanted me to write this show with him. And I immediately said no, because I was terrified, because I'd never written a book musical. And eventually he talked me into it, and it became a show called A Catered Affair. And it starred Harvey and Faith Prince and Tom Wopat, and it ran for almost 5 months, which is a respectable run, in 2008. And this particular song, it's about a family, an Irish family in the 1950s, and the daughter is getting married. And in this particular song, because she has never seen her parents show any affection to one another, she is making herself very vulnerable and asking her fiancé to reassure her. And the song is called Don't Ever Stop Saying I Love You. It's usually sung by a woman, but I think it's especially sweet, and no, I think it's especially sweet and vulnerable when a guy sings it.
Some people never say the way they feel, and I guess some just feel less. They never use those words that make love real. They don't go near the words as though they fear the words. But me, I must confess, I need to hear the words often, to soften this doubtfulness. Please tell me, tickling my ear, for as long as it's sincere, don't ever stop saying I love you. Please give me every single day that 3-syllable bouquet. Don't ever stop saying I love you. Actions speak louder, sure, love can endure without being told. But I need reminding, yes, that verbal caress to keep out the cold. So please, more than I could ever count, then quadruple that amount. Don't ever stop saying I love you. Continue to go where your heart is leading you. I want you so that I don't mind needing you. Please, I've been out here on my own. Now make your feelings known. Don't ever stop saying I love you. I need reminding, lots, no diamonds or yachts, just whispered forget-me-nots. Please help me grow beyond my past. If you want this glow to last, don't ever stop saying I love you.
Thanks.
I'm gonna get off the stage and let John take it away for a couple songs, if you don't mind.
Thanks, Cora. So, I met Corey actually at Carnegie Mellon. I was doing a master class with them, all the students there performing my songs. And I arrived and came down the escalator from baggage claim, and there was that smiling face to greet me and take me to the school and show me around. And then I heard him sing and thought, this guy is really special. This guy is really special. So this song is also from a catered affair. It happens a little bit later, and it actually happens in the middle of the show and then is reprised at the very end of the show. And the way songs get written is quite unique. And for me, the learning curve of how songs get written for the stage was especially interesting. That last song, Don't Ever Stop Saying I Love You, is the only song in the show that Harvey said, we need a love song here. I'm not going to do his voice. I can't do it. It hurts. I have to sing. But he said, we need a love song here, and maybe you want to call it Don't Ever Stop Saying I Love You, which was a great gift, because what a great title. But the rest of the show, he had written the book as a straight play. There were no, holes where he said, we have to fill in a song here. He just wrote it all. He wrote all the dialogue, and even where there were song moments, it all had dialogue. And then we each made a list of where we thought the song moments would happen, and separately, and amazingly, the lists were virtually identical, which was a really good sign. And then he was off doing Fiddler on the Roof on Broadway, so he left me alone for a year to just take out the chunks of his prose and replace them with songs, and yet still keep the dramatic arc of the piece. And this was one of those songs, this next one, where I really pirated the brilliant prose that he wrote and incorporated it into this tiny little song, which is called Coney Island. We stumble around this complicated world, a scary place where no one has the perfect book of rules. For getting through it, so afraid we've got it wrong, and somehow sure we're in it all alone, even as we're walking hand in hand. Think about a moment in your life, a time when you were feeling like a frightened little kid on a roller coaster. From the start you closed your eyes, and at the end you looked all lost and sad. You paid your money, took the ride, but missed the view. You're halfway through another ride. Don't wait until the scary feelings pass. Just take a breath and open up your eyes right now. Thanks. It's very sweet when Harvey sings it with that gravelly little voice, which is somehow so emotional. You wouldn't think so, but it's just lovely. I love the way he does it. So this song is another sort of cheat, because it's not from a Broadway musical, but it's from a new show that I've just written. I got a commission from a Danish producer named Soren Muller, who emailed me, and he was recommended to me, Here Comes the Circle Again, by Stephen Schwartz. And he wanted to commission me, which, by the way, is the most beautiful word in the English language to a writer, commission. I was very happy. And of course, the Danish government actually supports the arts. What a concept. So there was a lot of money, and I really needed it. And I wrote this show. And the show was called Esaura. It's a woman's name, E-S-A-U-R-A. If you want to check it out on YouTube, there's a 5-minute trailer from the show that was produced a little earlier this fall. Beautiful production. I've never been more proud of anything. And the show takes place in the little town in Denmark where we did it. And I won't tell you the whole story, but it's basically Esaura and her father Abraham. And Esaura falls in love with the wrong boy. And she's trying to figure out a way. She knows her father won't approve of this guy, and she's trying to figure out a way to break the news to her father gently. And so her mother died giving birth to her, and so she comes up with an idea of asking her father how he felt about her mother to bring up the subject of being in love. And it doesn't go very well, but she gives it a try. So I'm going to do both voices, and hopefully it'll be obvious when the father is singing and when the daughter's singing. He sings on one note. Every time he sings, it's only on one note because he just doesn't want to hear what she's saying to him, and he's being stubborn, so you'll get it. Anyway, the song is called Beautiful. Father, was she beautiful? Who? Mother. When she walked into the room, did you forget what you were thinking and just stare at her? Drinking her in with your eyes, trying to memorize her precious face. She was a hard worker. She was a fine wife. But Father, was it magical? At the moment when you met, did you get tingles and imagine you would marry her? Were you wary or insecure? When did you both know for sure? Was it your first embrace? How I wish I'd seen you together, walking arm in arm, working side by side. And how I wish that I'd been old enough to be a comfort when she died. You were my only comfort. You've been my greatest joy. Father, did you ache for her? Did you get a strange sensation like a part of you went missing every time she left your sight? Spinning you out of control. Then, when she returned, you were whole again, and all was right. We had a good life. I don't want to make you sad, but these are things I'm feeling. I mean, things I'm feeling that I hope to feel someday. Someday isn't here yet. Falling in love with a boy, we'll find the right man. The whole thing is really odd. At the right time, suddenly wondering how even God could make someone so beautiful. What? Father, was she beautiful? Do you miss her every day? Do you miss the way things were? father. Yes. Am I half as beautiful as her? Thank you. Thanks.
John Bucchino.
Guy can write a tune, right?
I say
Yeah.
that was a real big trip for Corey and I. I think both he and I in college, we spent a lot of time listening
Yeah.
to those songs and singing those songs and crying to those songs.
Yeah,
and
Ben and I realized the first time we both ever heard John's songs, we both were weeping.
Weeping.
Because they're just, you can tell his soul is truly in every lyric and in every song, and it's kind of, we're kind of fangirling being able to be up here.
Absolutely.
so.
Just sitting up there going,
Yeah, this is like my 5th time singing with John, and I still, like, oh my God, okay.
oh, it's just amazing. Two of my favorite records. It's his first record, Grateful, where Liza Minnelli sings his music,
Art
Patti
Garfunkel,
LuPone sings his music, Adam Gettle. And then the It's Only Life, his song cycle, the album of that is probably my favorite recording of all time. So check those out.
As well as
because
the cast album
of A Catered Affair, which is
yeah.
stunning.
All 3 are absolutely incredible. We feel very honored to have him with us.
Yay. All right, this next one, oh my goodness, transition. All right, this is from the show that won the Best Musical Tony in 2002, Thoroughly Modern Millie, music by Janine Tesori and lyrics by Dick Scanlon. And here we go.
It's called What Do I Need with Love? Oh, the places I would like to show you, although I hardly know you, I have a funny feeling we'd make a perfect pair. Famous sights I wanna see you seeing, the nights of you and me, you. Wait a minute. Just a minute. No. I'm a Joe with just one aim. Every night to date a different dame. Call each one of them the same pet name. Hey, baby. In a row I have my ducks. Loads of gals who give me loads of yucks. Leave the cooing to the other clucks. I don't mean maybe. Got it good. What do I need with love? Always practice what I preach. Leave temptation out of easy reach. Stick to dolls who wash their hair in bleach. I'm happy. Come and go the way I choose. Never gonna sing the tie-down blues. Other guys would kill to fill my shoes. No wing-clipped, sappy. Got it good. What do I need with love? That was a near miss. Talk about a close shave. Flirting with disaster. There must be someone up there watching over me. Talk about a 4-leaf clover me. Peter Rabbit's missing footsie means I roll without a tootsie. Got it good. What do I need with love? I've got it good. What do I need with love? Skip the vows and all that rot. Tell the minister that I do not. Free and easy is the birds and bees, is the breeze and easy is the life I've got. Without her. Although I hardly know you. What do I need with love? I've got it good. Got it good. But now I've got it bad.
I always find it really ironic listening to Corey sing that because he has a beautiful wife at home. Hi, Megan.
I do have a
if you're
beautiful wife
watching.
at home who couldn't be with us today, but all of these love songs, I'm just thinking about her, so hopefully they come across as honest and truthful, else it'll be weird. One second. So, to transition to one of our last songs, I'm gonna sit down really quick. I recently watched this video on the YouTube, as the kids call it these days, and it was a video pretty much just showing our world, the Earth, from space, from millions of miles away, and how it literally looks like a grain of sand. It looks like the tiniest thing ever. And the video goes on to talk about how on this Earth, in this world, the only place that we know of in the universe that can sustain life, we are all we have. Every musician we've ever heard, every piece of food we've ever eaten, every artist we've ever gone and seen in a museum, all we know is here on this Earth. And it kind of just was just saying simply, we need to embrace it and not fight so much, and not get jealous and get that life is way too short and way too small. And we are so insignificant in the realm of everything else that's out there to let our life pass us by and with such trivial things and such tragic things as these small things we deal with every day that consume us. So now that I've preached, this next song is from Godspell, which was actually on Broadway. It was on Broadway originally in 1970, and then it had a revival recently in the last year, and again, a musical by Schwartz. And this song was not in the original production, but it was added into this new version. So I'm happy to get to share with you.
And this arrangement is by my boss at Pippin, the brilliant Charlie Alterman, and then Michael Holland. Together they made this for Hunter Parrish, and it's one of my favorites.
It's pretty beautiful, yeah. Out of the ruins and rubble, out of the smoke, out of our night of struggle, can we see a ray of hope? One pale thin ray reaching for the day. We can build a beautiful city. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can build a beautiful city. Not a city of angels, but we can build a city of men. We may not reach the ending, but we can start slowly but truly mending, brick by brick, heart by heart. Now, maybe now, we start learning how we can build a beautiful city. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can build a beautiful city. Not a city of angels, but we can build a city of men. When your trust is all but shattered, when your faith is all but killed, you can give up bitter and battered, or you can slowly start to build a beautiful city. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. beautiful city, not a city of angels, but finally a city of men. A city of men.
Corey learned that one on the train this morning.
I learned that on the trains.
That was a new one.
So we have one more song left, and we just want to say thank you so much for coming to this free night and watching us. And I hope something that we shared with you guys tonight either inspired you or maybe didn't inspire you, or it moved you, or changed your life in some way. So thank you so much for coming. We'd like to thank ASCAP, Michael Kirker. Please give them a round of applause. An amazing organization. So grateful for this opportunity. Thank you to the Kennedy Center. You guys have been so hospitable and so welcoming to us. Thank you so much for all you do.
And particularly Tim for really taking amazing care of
Tim.
us today. Thank you,
Tim Prestridge, thank you so much for everything. For our last song, I would like to bring it back out John Bucchino.
Who we're
Come back
so
out, John.
grateful for.
Oh, and one big round of applause for Ben Rauhala. He was a champion through all of this. He's my guy.
I want to thank, of course, Michael Kirker and ASCAP. I've known Michael probably for 25 years now, and all of us in the musical theater and cabaret community in New York, and in fact all over the country, know him to be the most kind, the most supportive, the most... I think he's cloned himself because no one human being can do as much as he does for all of us. So I really want to thank him. And ASCAP, the organization, which is extraordinary, which has been so incredibly useful and helpful to many of us writers. So thank you.
John, you're actually an ASCAP award winner, right?
I did win an award. Thank you, Corey. Yes.
Yeah. What's the name of that award?
It's called the Richard Rogers New Horizons Award.
Amazing.
I know.
Amazing.
I know.
Yeah.
So this song, do you want to
This
talk
song,
about it?
well,
Yeah.
this song is kind of become John's staple song. It's kind of his label song, I guess you could call it. It was the first song of his that I sang, it's entitled "Grateful." And with Thanksgiving around the corner, in my mind, it's kind of become the unofficial song for Thanksgiving, and it's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm happy to be able to sing it for you guys. I've got a roof over my head. I've got a warm place to sleep. Some nights I lie awake counting gifts instead of counting sheep. I've got a heart that can hold love. I've got a mind that can think. There may be times when I lose the light and let my spirit sink, but I can't stay depressed when I remember how I'm blessed. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. In a city of strangers, I've got a family of friends. No matter what rocks and brambles fill the way, I know that they will stay until the end. feel a hand holding my hand. It's not a hand you can see, but on the road to the promised land, this hand will shepherd me through delight and despair, holding tight and always there. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. It's not that I don't want a lot, or hope for more, or dream of more, but giving thanks for what I've got makes me so much happier than keeping score in a world that can bring pain. I will still take each chance, for I believe that whatever the terrain, our feet can learn to dance. Whatever stone life may sling, we can moan or we can sing. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. Truly blessed and duly grateful.
Clearly, there are no people like show people. Thank you, gentlemen. A sterling evening. I have a hunch we have a lot of questions out there, or hopefully we have some questions. Dempsey will be out front with a microphone, so if you have a question, we'll ask you to raise your hand. But I think I'll start out with one quick question first. You know, one of the great things about these ASCAP evenings, we do a lot of them around the country, is to have a great American composer at the piano, have a great American theater talent at the mic singing. And I'm just curious, Corey, is it a bit more, let's say, nerve-wracking, or does it raise the stakes for you to sing knowing that the composer is there? And I guess the second part of the question is for the composer, do you give the performer a lot of leeway in how they might want to arrange the song or perform the song?
It's definitely nerve-wracking the first time it happens. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I was shaking the first time we sang together. But
Well, I'm very intimidating, so I
right, he is. But there's also a comfort to it. There's a comfort knowing that the person who created it is with you, and that hopefully, if they're a nice person, they're going to be open to want to collaborate with you and want to share what they've created with you and hear the ways that you've interpreted it in a different way. So for me, it's been more of a comforting experience. It's nerve-wracking at first, but once you get the lay of the land, it flattens out and becomes a lot more fun.
I particularly wanted to ask this question because I know how John is about how his songs are performed.
Well, I'm happy to work with performers who don't want to rewrite the song. Now, arranging it is one thing, but rewriting it, because, we who write them work really, really hard to make them, I sweat over every eighth note and every syllable. Should it be an should it be a the, and we all do that. So to have somebody randomly, especially because they don't know the song, when a singer doesn't learn it properly and starts putting in different words that sort of mean the same thing, that's not cool. But if a singer learns it and really knows it and makes a suggestion or wants to do a riff or wants to do, a slight melody change, I'm perfectly willing to hear that.
So Ben, when you worked with Corey on John's songs, did you refer to John, ask John for permission, or did you?
Oh, I was lucky enough, these two had done a show below at 54 Below a few months back, so I actually didn't have to touch them very much, which was, excellent. But, Corey and I both, we respect what John's music is on the page so much and what it is from those recordings, too, that I think he and I are both really committed to what the songs were conceived as. So I think you'll
You're
find
my favorite, Ben.
We didn't stray very much.
I've always liked you a lot.
Thank you.
Ben.
Did you hear
Can
that,
we have
Mom?
the house lights up a bit so I can see some hands? Dempsey, there's actually... Oh, okay. I know we have one question. Somebody's on the steps over there, I think. Yeah, right there.
So, Mr. Cott, I saw you in Newsies and cried the whole way through because it was so beautiful. So, thank you very much. I know you're a little bit younger than I am, but I grew up watching Newsies, and I wondered if you grew up watching Newsies, and if you did, if you always dreamed of playing Jack, or if Spot was more your guy.
I actually feel like I'm one of the few guys in our cast who did not grow up watching Newsies. The movie came out in 1992, and I was 2 then. So I feel it kind of was a little ahead of me. I did grow up with Disney movies like the Aladdins, the Lion Kings, but once it was turned into a musical, Jack became much more of a role that I dreamed about playing. I actually sang Santa Fe in college before, I sang the movie version. The main song, the big kind of climax of the first act ends with this song called Santa Fe, which is what my character sings, and it's kind of this Santa Fe, New Mexico is the place where it's kind of a metaphor for just going someplace else and getting out of wherever he lives in New York City, and so I saw that they were making it into a musical, and that's when it became a really, really big attractive role to me, because I knew I was the right age. I had kind of the right, maybe a little bit of a cocky vibe, maybe a little bit, and so
Not at all.
and so I thought I could do that well, but no, I actually didn't grow up with the movie. Yeah.
Question down front.
Thank you all for being here tonight. This was an amazing evening. Question for Corey, a couple. Who is someone that you'd love to work with? What musical, past and present, would you love to have the lead? And after Newsies, what is next for Corey Cott?
Okay. In regards to who I want to work with, do you want to keep it in the musical theater realm or just anybody in general?
Anybody. I was interested in musical theater. But
I think this is the first person that comes to mind, but I think it's true for a lot of people. I would love to work with Adam Gettle as a composer, who, if any of you know, he composed The Light in the Piazza, Floyd Collins, a few other amazing shows that have really moved me in a lot of ways. And composer-wise, he's who I would love to work with. I could write a book about the actors and actresses and all that stuff. But yeah, composer-wise, Adam. What was the second question? Sorry.
in what musical would you love to have?
What musical would I have love to lead? The one that I've been going to recently a lot is Billy Bigelow. Carousel. Carousel. Yeah, classic Rodgers and Hammerstein, and it's a role that I really I think I'm a little too young for it right now. I think I gotta wait till I maybe have a couple kids or something. But yeah, it's a role that it's really attractive to me. It has, since I sang Soliloquy in college, which was, I should not have sang that song. It's a guy singing about his son growing up, and I'm much too old for it. But that, and then Jean Valjean one day too. I don't know what leading man guy doesn't want to play Jean Valjean someday. And then What's next? You know, it's a great question. It might be a little too soon, but I really want to do it all. You know, I really want to just tell good stories, and if that story lies in theater, it lies in theater. If it lies in film and TV, it lies there. But it's kind of whatever the path has for me is what I'm excited about. Yeah, nothing right now.
We might be doing a concert in February with Kara, so keep your eyes out for that.
We might
one.
be reviving this concert, so yeah.
Exactly. You might hear the songs you might not have heard tonight, but you would have.
I wanted to ask John, I know that musical theater, you're saying book musical songs are different from standalone or cabaret, but what makes them different?
Well, they can be different, and then, you know, they can also be standalone songs as well. I mean, there are different kinds of musical theater songs. There are the kind that are really plot-driving songs that sometimes, and there were some in A Catered Affair where, and I was really proud of this, where, in fact, people in the audience would say, and it was the highest compliment, I didn't even know they were singing. They were talking, and suddenly they were singing, and then suddenly they were talking again, and I didn't notice that. Which I love being able to write a song that just kind of emerges as the emotion heightens, which is what happens in musicals and why people sing, because there's so much emotion that they have no choice but to sing. So there are those songs that are more plot driving or expositional or, you know, songs. And then there are those they used to call them charm songs, where things stop for a moment and you just sort of assess where the character is in a given moment, and those tend to be more of the standalone songs within musical theater.
John, that song that the chorus sang, Don't Ever Stop Saying I Love
Yeah.
You, did you know that that song might work out of context? Because a lot of people do sing it.
Well, you know, the thought when Harvey said there should be a love song here, and what if we called it, or what if you called it, don't ever stop saying I love you. The first thing that came to mind, because it does take place in the 50s, and although this is even earlier than that, I've thought of sort of an Irving Berlin kind of standard classic love song, and that's sort of what I guess was going for.
Because obviously in the 30s, 40s, 50s, those men and women wrote songs specifically to work out of context
That's
of the
right.
show.
That's right. So, yeah.
There's a question right there, Dempsey, second row.
I'll ask a question of Benjamin. A professional question.
Yes.
I'm curious about, as a musical director, does a musical director ever get royalties if a show is redone in the future? And I'm just curious about your aspirations. Do you one day want to write a musical as well?
Sure. Honestly, the biggest thing with royalties is if at some point they did a vocal arrangement, or even if at some point they worked on one of the piano reductions, or yada, 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 depending on what they're accredited to. And it sort of depends how the contracts are negotiated too. It's sort of a case-by-case thing. But if someone wrote the vocal arrangements for a show, like Stephen Aremus wrote the vocal arrangements for Wicked, even though he didn't do the orchestrations and he's not with the show anymore, he will forever be with that show. And lucky him. As for my professional aspirations, you know, I was the music assistant on a show like Pippin, which is, you know, like down there. And someday I would love to be like my bosses there and be conducting that show. Or if Wicked ever stops being on Broadway, I would love to conduct the revival when that happens. Or, you know, honestly, this for me is like one of the highlights of my career. So anytime anything happens with me, it's like, everything is like above what I ever aspired to. So honestly, if I stopped working tomorrow, this is pretty great. They're pretty amazing. They're as good as it gets. So that's where I aspire to. Thank you.
Any other questions? Oh, yes. Oh, good.
This is a question for Ben and John. You're both really excellent accompanists. And if you could give any advice to people who are auditioning, things they could do to not irritate the accompanist in an audition.
Oh my gosh, I'm
to make their life easier.
I'll let you take it, Ben.
I play a lot of auditions. Well, okay.
Love snapping, right?
Oh, don't. You know, if you're a nice person, you snap. I don't give out. But don't snap is like sort of a big thing with people. try to eliminate page turns as much as you can, meaning if your music can be double-sided, you should do that, because every time I turn a page, it's one more chance for me to make a mistake, if that makes sense. So the fewer page turns you have, the better that is. If you're skipping music, like if you're cutting out parts of the music, make sure that it's cut out cleanly, that it's, you exit through, or don't be afraid to cut up your music and re-photocopy it and make that really easy. I don't know, and be nice to your accompanist, because most of the time they're good, nice people who are just trying to do their best job for you. And yeah. And feel free to like tap the tempo a little bit on your body. I think that's the cleanest thing for me, is if someone just says, the pulse is here, and they hum a little bit, that's great.
I have a tiny little thing, which is there are certain songs of mine that you really shouldn't bring in for an accompanist to sight read. And I think there are probably certain songs by like certain Sondheim songs, certain Adam Gettle songs, people who write more complex, specifically written piano things that are idiosyncratic it's a lot to ask an accompanist who may not be familiar with that song to sight read it. And what it's going to work against you, because they're going to make you look bad, because they're not going to be able to do a really good job.
Truth.
And interestingly enough, Martin Charnin, the lyricist of Annie, was here at last night's concert, and he gave a master class in auditioning yesterday here at the Kennedy Center. And one of his, I won't call it a pet peeve, but he insisted on that. He said anyone who comes into audition should know who wrote the song and what show it comes from. And he said anyone who he asked who did not know the answer to that question, he wouldn't see them, he'd send them out. So you might want to think about that. We actually have time for one more question. I wanted to ask Corey, is there a difference the way you prepare for performing in the theater as opposed to something like tonight in concert?
Regarding just the prep time before I do my show every night, or just
and how you worked on delivering the material?
I wouldn't say there would be much of a difference. No, I mean, I treated this as if I was coming out and doing a show and doing a production of Newsies. And
did you like the freedom of being able to choose what you got to see?
Oh yeah, I mean, when you do a show 8 times a week for over a year, it becomes a little monotonous sometimes. Not that I don't enjoy it, because I do, but there's times where you're just I can't believe I'm doing this again. It's like brushing your teeth almost. You just kind of just fall into it and you just do it. And I know that sounds crazy, but it becomes a muscle memory. So to do something like this, where I get to come to a place I've never been, sing in a space I've never sang in, work on songs with people we've worked together, but worked on new songs and share them with people I've never met before. That's always thrilling as an artist, to be able to just experience music and art in a new way. So in that sense, yeah, it's a little different. Yeah.
Well, we are truly grateful to you on your night off to come here to the Kennedy Center. Please help me thank Ben, John, and Corey. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.